Hello, this is Lee Hoy with Lee Hoy Photography, and in today's video I want to show you some tips and tricks on setting your whites and your blacks when editing images in Lightroom 5. As you'll see here, I already have an image open. I made a virtual copy of it so that I could play around with this image. And it's a widow skimmer, which has quite a bit of black and whites in it. And I thought it would make an excellent example for us today. A lot of photographers, for some reason, seem lately to want to avoid having any pure blacks or whites in their images. But when photographing outdoor images, we will often be encountering situations where we have true blacks and whites, whether it be in wildlife or landscape photography. And often we want to represent those as accurately as possible. So we have some tools, fortunately, in Lightroom to do that. Over here, you'll see that I've already edited the blacks, but I can easily reset blacks by just double clicking on the name, and that'll put everything back to zero. Up here at the top, you'll see our histogram. I'm already in the develop module, and right now neither my black nor highlight alert is clicked. If I click those two, then what we'll see, and you'll notice right up here some pixels that are shaded blue, and those are telling me those pixels are already solid black. And I believe right over here in the wing we can see some pixels that are already solid white. And when we want to edit this image, we have a couple of different ways of doing it. Probably one of the least preferable is I can simply click on a name like whites and change that by hitting the plus or minus, and it will change in 5-degree increments. I really don't like this method at all, never use it, never even give a second thought to it. Another method that I wouldn't find very helpful would be to type numbers directly into the values boxes to the right. Again, I would not find that useful at all, as my ability to simply guess where they need to be is not there. One of the ways I do like to adjust it, though, is by having my two alerts clicked and then coming up here, and you'll notice wherever I put my cursor on my histogram, it will show me here. It shows whites. This is highlights. Here's exposure. This would be shadows, and this would be blacks. So when we're wanting to set our whites, I could simply click on this part of the histogram and then drag to the right, and we should eventually start to see, oh, there we see quite a few pixels now showing up pure white. I would like to back that down, and I think right there would work pretty well for me. Again, I can do the same over here on blacks. I have a few that are already in black, but I think parts of that wing of that dragonfly would really be a little better represented darker. Let me turn off my two alerts and see how the image is looking. I think overall that looks pretty good. Obviously there's other aspects of editing remain. I've got this spider web. I've got this little dust spot right here that would need to be removed. But in terms of setting my black and white, I think that looks pretty good. Now, I want to show you another technique that we could use that is really pretty handy as well. If I come over here and put my mouse on the white slider, on Mac, if I press the Alt Option key, or in PC, if I click on the Alt key, and then I drag my slider to the right, this will set the image to complete black, and then those pixels that show up in blue will be pixels that are completely white. And I can again make some adjustments here. I think that's probably too much on the body. Try to get this set where I think, about right there, maybe about at 21, and that to me is looking pretty good. I can come up here, turn on my highlights alert. I've got a few, but I think the wings are looking pretty accurate. Let's come back down and let's click on the black slider and press the Alt key. Now as I move left, the image, if I go extreme left, you can get a feel. All those pixels showing up in black are true black. The yellows and greens are those that are approaching black. But if I would like to get some of this wing and the eye, see this dark area behind the eye, let me click on my blacks alert. You know what, that looks pretty accurate as well. I kind of like how that image looks. These are some of the tips and techniques that we have when setting our whites and blacks in our image. Again, I think this image is at a point where it looks pretty good, and hopefully you can practice with some of those until you find one that works well for you. Until next time, have a great day.